Magyanatimirandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitan Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Shri Rupa Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padasahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Panchaka Pataru Vyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So you're welcome. So let's continue from where we stopped yesterday. Yesterday we stopped at Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, text number, who can remind us?
Text 2.
No. We went beyond 2.
Yes, we did text 3.
Yes, now you are correct. Yes, now you are correct. Just 1 minute, I'm working on it. About passcodes. Okay. So we're going to start today because we've done test 2 yesterday. So I want to share one nice session about passcodes with us. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen now?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Raj, how are you? Your camera is still 40 today?
I still haven't fixed my camera yet, Prabhu.
No problem. We will patiently wait for your camera to be fixed, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the quotes from test 2 we read yesterday. Who want to read some test 2? The quote, the Papa's quote.
I can read, Prabhu. Is this
Please go ahead,
Sakale neha mahata yogo nashtaha. The time is very powerful. It changes. That is the time means it changes. Kills the original position. You have got experience. You purchase one thing. It is very fresh, new, but time will kill it. It will become shabby. It will be useless at a time. In due course of time, this material time, it is called kala. Kala means death, or kala means the black snake. So, black snake destroys. As soon as touches anything, it is destroyed. Similarly, kala, this kala is also another form of Krishna. So, kalena mahata. Therefore, it is called mahata. It is very powerful. It is not ordinary thing, mahata. Its business is to destroy. Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, text 2, Bombay 22,374. That's March 22, 1974?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to read the second one.
Okay. Should I continue, Prabhu?
Yeah, please, you can read.
Yes, Bhaktoshi me sakashati rashyam yay attad uttamam. Now, you can think that when Krishna was present 5,000 years before, there were many big scholars learned. Even Vyasadeva was present. And not only Vyasadeva, there were others also, great scholars, great sages. The purport of this yoga system is now lost. And because it is lost, therefore I instruct you to understand this system of yoga. Why to me? I am not a scholar. Arjuna was a military man, warrior. He was Satriya, not even Brahmana, not a Vedantist, nothing of the sort. He knew how to fight only. That's all. That was his qualification. But Krishna wanted to teach him. Why? That is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. Bhaktoshi, because you are my devotee. Therefore, to understand Bhagavad Gita, the yoga system, one has to become a person of Krishna consciousness. Lecture engagement and prasad distribution, Boston, April 26 of 1969. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. We discussed yesterday the qualification for understanding Bhagavad Gita. Bhakto Seme Sakati iti, Krishna mentioned very clearly. Because you are my friend and a devotee, that is why I'm going to instruct this knowledge to you. So we discussed extensively on that yesterday. So that is very, very important. So let's continue from where we stopped. So now today, Arjuna is going to ask this question. Okay. Let me. Continue from text 4 today. Arjuna Uvacha Aparam Bhavato Jamma Param Jalma Vivasataha Katameta Vijaniyam Twamado Proktavamiti. So, yeah, Abba Krishna started this chapter by saying that he started this to Arjuna, to Sun God in the beginning. So Arjuna was a little bit pondered, like Arjuna said, the Sun God is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you started the science to him? You see, a very sincere student. He wants to know, Krishna, how can you install this Sun God? It's senior to you by birth. Okay, so this is the beginning of Arjuna asked a question about why Krishna appeared in this world, which is very, very important for us also. And to show that Krishna is eternal, transcendental, beyond this mundane world. So Arjuna asked this question for our own benefit only, so that we can know how Krishna is beyond this material world. So the purport is very interesting. Let's read. Who have not read before, please read.
Arjuna is an accepted devotee of the Lord. So how could he not believe Krishna's words? The fact is that Arjuna is not inquiring for himself, but for those who do not believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or for the demons who do not like the idea that Krishna should be accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For them only Arjuna inquires on this point, as if he were himself not aware of the personality of Godhead or Krishna. As it will be evident from the 10th chapter, Arjuna knew perfectly well that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the fountainhead of everything and the last word in transcendence. Of course, Krishna also appeared as the son of Devaki on this earth. How Krishna remained the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, the eternal original person, is very difficult for an ordinary man to understand. Therefore, to clarify this point, Arjuna put this question before Krishna so that he himself could speak authoritatively. That Krishna is the supreme authority is accepted by the whole world, not only at present but from time immemorial, and the demons alone reject him. Anyway, since Krishna is the authority accepted by all, Arjuna put this question before him in order that Krishna would describe himself without being depicted by the demons, who always try to distort him in a way understandable to the demons and their followers. It is necessary that everyone, for his own interests, know the signs of Krishna. Therefore, when Krishna himself speaks about himself, it is auspicious for all the worlds. To the demons, such explanations by Krishna himself may appear to be strange because the demons always study Krishna from their own standpoint. But those who are devotees heartily welcome the statements of Krishna when they are spoken by Krishna himself. Devotees will always worship such authoritative statements of Krishna because they are always eager to know more and more about him. The atheists who consider Krishna as an ordinary man may in this way come to know that Krishna is superhuman, that he is Satchitananda Vigraha, the eternal form of bliss and knowledge, that he is transcendental, and that he is above the domination of the modes of material nature, and above the influence of time and space. A devotee of Krishna like Arjuna is undoubtedly above any misunderstanding of the transcendental position of Krishna. Arjuna's putting this question before the Lord is simply an attempt by the devotee to defy the atheistic attitude of persons who consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being, subject to the modes of material nature. Hare Krishna.
So you see, here Krishna, Prabhupada explained very nicely that Arjuna, because before this, Krishna was telling Arjuna, I'm giving you this knowledge because you are my devotee, you are my friend. So how can Arjuna could be asking this kind of question if he doesn't know who Krishna is? So he's asking for our own benefit. He's asking for our own benefit. And that is why, like Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, to give up for Krishna speak about himself, who can talk better than, who can talk about yourself more than yourself? You know, Krishna, if Krishna speak about his own self, it's more authentic than if any other person will talk about him, because sometimes we may speculate about the person. But if the person come out and say, this is who I am, this is me, and this, there's no any arguments. We will accept it as the fact. So Krishna is going to speak about his transcendental nature and his supremacy, because Arjuna asked this question. And Krishna is going to tell Arjuna, yes, I have come in different avatar. So in my different avatar, I've given this knowledge to the Son God. Although all these avatar, I remember them. Even though you also, Arjuna, you are very close to me, we always come together. But because you are a jiva, it's my new soul, you can forget. But for me, I cannot forget. So because I'm the supreme personality of Godhead. So Krishna is going to reply to Arjuna's question. Let's listen to Krishna's answer, which is the next one. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Pauni me vyatitani janmani tavarachajana taniyaham veda sarvani nattam veda parantapa. The personality of God has said, many birds, both you and I are first. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of enemy. You see? So Krishna started beginning to, started establishing his supreme nature from here. Many birds, both you and I are past. I can remember all of them, but you cannot. Why? Because Arjuna is a servant of Krishna. It's a minute soul. So he forgets. But Krishna can only remember because Krishna is infallible. Krishna is supreme. So let's read this purpose, which is very important in establishing who Krishna is. Who have not read, please read for your own benefit.
I'll go ahead, Prabhuji.
Yes.
In the Brahma Samhita 5.33, we have information of many incarnations of the Lord. It is stated there, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayauvanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlam Atma Bhaktau Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who is the original person, absolute, infallible, without beginning. Although expanded into unlimited forms, he is still the same original, the oldest, the person always appearing as a fresh youth. Such eternal, blissful, all-knowing forms of the Lord are usually not understood by even the best Vedic scholars, but they are always manifest to pure, unalloyed devotees. It is also stated in Brahma Samhita 5.39, Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tistan Nanavataram Akrod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Sambhavat Parama Puman Yo Govinda Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who is situated in various incarnations such as Rama, Nrsimha, and many sub-incarnations as well, but who is the original personality of Godhead known as Krishna and who incarnates personally also. In the Vedas, also it is said that the Lord, although one without a second, manifests himself in innumerable forms. He is like the Vaidhurya stone, which changes color yet still remains one. All those multi-forms are understood by the pure, unalloyed devotees, but not by simple study of the Vedas. Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhaktau. Devotees like Arjuna are constant companions of the Lord, and whenever the Lord incarnates, the associate devotees also incarnate in order to serve the Lord in different capacities. Arjuna is one of these devotees, and in this verse, it is understood that some millions of years ago, when Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to the sun god Vivashwan, Arjuna in a different capacity was also present. But the difference between the Lord and Arjuna is that the Lord remembered the incident, whereas Arjuna could not remember. That is the difference between the part and parcel living entity and the Supreme Lord. Although Arjuna is addressed herein as the mighty hero who could subdue the enemies, he is unable to recall what had happened in his various past births. Therefore, a living entity, however great he may be in this material estimation, can never equal the Supreme Lord. Anyone who is constant companion of the Lord is certainly a liberated person, but he cannot be equal to the Lord. The Lord is described in the Brahma Samhita as infallible, Achyuta, which means that he never forgets himself, even though he is in material contact. Therefore, the Lord and the living entity can never be equal in all respects, even if the living entity is as liberated as Arjuna. Although Arjuna is a devotee of the Lord, he sometimes forgets the nature of the Lord. But by the divine grace, a devotee can once understand the infallible condition of the Lord, whereas a non-devotee or a demon cannot understand this transcendental nature. Consequently, these descriptions in the Bhagavad Gita cannot be understood by demonic brains. Krishna remembered acts which were performed by him millions of years before, but Arjuna could not, despite the fact that both Krishna and Arjuna are eternal in nature. We may also not note herein that a living entity forgets everything due to his change of body, but the Lord remembers because he does not change his Sachitananda body. He is Advaita, which means there is no distinction between his body and himself. Everything in relation to him is spirit, whereas the conditioned soul is different from his material body. And because the Lord's bodies and self are identical, his position is always different from that of the ordinary living entity, even when he descends to the material platform. The demons cannot adjust themselves to this transcendental nature of the Lord, which the Lord himself explained in the following verse. Hare Krishna.
For the first reading, very clear. See, this purport is very, very important for us, and we should learn. So here in the verse, Krishna is telling that he has spoken this knowledge to Vivishwan in a different incarnation. Okay, and he can remember, but Arjuna cannot, because now they are in this incarnation. And if we should learn that first verse, Prabhupada started this explanation of it. Very nice verse. In case you want to describe who God is, let's say, for example, you are preaching to a newcomer or neophyte devotee and you want to describe who God is. That Brahma Samhita verse gives you a perfect description of who God is. That's what Prabhupada, in that purport, Prabhupada was just explaining that particular verse. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purano Purusham Navayo Benamcha Videshu Dularbam Adularbam Atmabhato Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. So that verse is, the whole purport was based on that verse. Prabhupada was explaining. Advaitam. Krishna is one. He has no second. Advaitam, Achutam is infallible. That's why he doesn't forget. Okay, we are fallible. Okay. Then Advaitam, Achutam, Anadim, Ananta, Rupam. He has unlimited forms. That is why he has come in different incarnations, in different form. And that another form he has spoken this Bhagavad Gita to the sun god. Now you can remember even as in the form of Krishna. Arjuna cannot. Okay. Yeah, Advaita Machuta Manadi Manandarup Adyam Purano Purusham. Krishna is the oldest person. Adyam Purano Purusham is the oldest person, is the person and is the oldest, is the origin of all. Adyam Purano Purusham. Navayovenam. Even though he's the oldest person, Navayovenam, he remained very young, of the age of 16 years. Very young. Navayovenam Cha. Videshu Dularva. Adulava Matma Bhakto. And that is why he's speaking this knowledge to Arjuna, because Arjuna is his devotee and a friend. Krishna says here, Brahma says in this part of the sloka, Videshu Dularva. It's very difficult to understand him by studying the Vedas. If you like studying the scripture from year to night, you would study all the Vedantas, all the Upanishads, all the Vedangas, study all the scriptures. Still, you cannot understand who Krishna is. Videshu Dularvam, Adularvam Atma Bhakta. Adularvam. Very easy. For who? For the devotees. Very easy for the devotees to understand him, to know him. Okay, so that is what Prabhupada is explaining in that purport. Now I'm going to ask question based on what we did yesterday. Let me see someone who will remember. How long is Bhagavad Gita on the heavenly planets? Before coming to here, how long has it on this material realm? How long is Bhagavad Gita spent? How long? No looking at books.
Was it 300 million?
120 million years ago.
Yeah, thank you, Bhakti Angel. 120 million, yes. 120 million, that is it. You got it. Let's clap for her. Thank you. Then, how long is Bhagavad Gita on earth?
Prabhu, can you
45.
repeat?
How long has Bhagavad Gita on earth? How long has it spent on this earth?
45 minutes, no?
Huh?
45 minutes? 45 minutes?
No. How long?
2 million. 2,005,000.
2 million, yeah, 2 million. No, 5,000 is different. 2 million, yes, thank you. Let's clap for Niharika Mataji. Today we are not seeing your beautiful face. What happened? Your camera is
Traveling, Prabhu, traveling.
You said?
I'm traveling.
Okay, thank you for participating even when you are traveling. Thank you. Okay, so 2 million years ago, because 120 million ago, Krishna spoke to the sun god. Then when he got to Ishwaku, which is on this during the time of Tetra Yoga, that was 2 million years ago. So in the beginning of this chapter, Krishna said, I spoke to sun god to Manu to Ishwaku. Ishwaku happens to be a king in the dynasty of King Raghu. So the dynasty of Lord Ramachandra. So that was 2 million years ago. Okay. Then again, because the chain, the split succession already broken, Krishna have to repeated same thing to Arjuna 5,000 years ago. So you can see how long Bhagavad Gita has been on this planet. It's one of the oldest book. Not one of them, it's the oldest book on this earth. Not one. No. It's the oldest book, Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Since 120 million years ago. The Bible is how long? 2,000. Quran is 1,500. Cannot be compared to Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So so Krishna is saying, in that incarnation, in different incarnation, I spoke it to me, verse 1. Now again, I'm here to speak it to you, Arjuna. I can remember that time, but you cannot remember because you are fallible. I'm infallible. That is why I can remember. I'm a truth. So, but you cannot remember. Okay. So Krishna is describing his glories here. Let's continue to hear. We're going to hear more about his glory in the next verses to come. It's very nice for the body to memorize these 6 also, because these are the some of these verses are the verses to establish the supremacy of Krishna, who Krishna is. You should learn it. At least if you don't learn any shloka in Brahma Samhita, you should learn 2 shloka, Ishvara Parama Krishna and Advaita Machuta Manadim Anantarupa. Or if you want to describe to someone who Krishna is and how the color looks like, you can learn Venu Kwananta Maravinda the Layak Tasham. The Brahma Samhita and Krishna Kanarmita were only 2 books that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought from South India when he was doing his traveling. So these 2 books are very, very important for devotee, especially Brahma Samhita. We should learn it, because when you understand Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Samhita, then you understand the supremacy of Krishna. So in text 6 here, saying, Ajopi Samabhyayatma, Bhutana Isharopi San, Prakitim Swamadhistaya, Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. This is God, this is Krishna. He always appear in his spiritual form. And that is why he doesn't forget. Always remember, because of his transcendental existence. Unlike us, once we sleep at night, we forget even this body we have. You don't know whether you are Kavi or you are Rasaraj or you are Ryan. You don't remember. You don't know. You are sleeping. You don't know who you are. At that time, you are at the mercy of the Lord, whether he wakes you or not. If he forgets to wake you, bye. It's as simple as that. Because you don't know whether you are sleeping on there are some people who are living on the skyscraper here in the metropolis, in this Ayala or Manila. They are sleeping in the skyscraper. Once they are sleeping at night, they don't know whether they are sleeping on the skyscraper or not. They forget the body. So that is it. Death means forgetfulness. So every night when we sleep, we are temporarily dead for a few hours. Once we sleep at night, we are temporarily dead for a few hours. 6 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, whatever. Because we are not aware of where we are. We are not even conscious. So because we are conditioned. But Krishna is not. Because Krishna body is not different from Krishna. His body is Satchit Ananda Vigraha. And that is what he's explaining to Arjuna here. Somebody who have not read, please read the purport.
All right, Prabhu. The Lord has spoken the peculiarity of his birth. Although he may appear like an ordinary person, he remembers everything of his many, many past births, whereas a common man cannot remember what he has done even a few hours before. If someone is asked what he did exactly at the same time 1 day earlier, it would be very difficult for a common man to answer immediately. He would surely have to dredge his memory to recall what he was doing exactly at the same time 1 day before. And yet, men often dare claim to be God or Krishna. One should not be misled by such meaningless claims. Then again, the Lord explained his prakti or his form. Prakti means nature as well as swarupa or one's own form. The Lord says that he appears in his own body. He does not change his body. As the common living entity changes from one body to another, The conditioned soul may have one kind of body in the present birth, but he has a different body in the next birth. In the material world, the living entity has no fixed body but transmigrates from one body to another. The Lord, however, does not do so. Whenever he appears, he does so in the same original body by his internal potency. In other words, Krishna appeared in this material world in its original eternal form with two hands holding a flute. He appears exactly in his eternal body, uncontaminated by this material world. Although he appears in the same transcendental body and is Lord of the universe, it still appears that he takes his birth like an ordinary living entity. And although his body does not deteriorate like a material body, it still appears that Lord Krishna grows from childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth. But astonishingly, astonishingly enough, he never ages beyond youth. At the time of Battle of Kurukshetra, he had many grandchildren at home, or in other words, he had sufficiently aged by material calculations. Still, he looked just like a young man, 20 or 25 years old. We never see a picture of Krishna in old age because he never grows old like us, although he is the oldest person in the whole creation, past, present, and future. Neither his body nor his intelligence ever deteriorates or changes. Therefore, it is clear that in spite of being in the material world, he is the same unborn, eternal form of bliss and knowledge, changeless in his transcendental body and intelligence. Factually, his appearance and disappearance are like the sun rising, moving before us and then disappearing from our eyesight. When the sun is out of sight, we think that the sun has set, and when the sun is before our eyes, we think that the sun is on the horizon. Actually, the sun is always in its fixed position, but owing to our defective, insufficient senses, we calculate the appearance and disappearance of the sun in the sky. And because Lord Krishna's appearance and disappearance are completely different from that of any ordinary common living entity, it is evident that he is eternal, blissful knowledge by his internal potency, and he is never contaminated by material nature. The Vedas also confirm that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unborn, yet he still appears to take his birth in multi-manifestations. The Vedic supplementary literatures also confirm that even though the Lord appears to be taking his birth, he is still without change of body. In the Bhagavatam, he appears before his mother as Narayan, with 4 hands and the decoration of 6 hands of full opulences. His appearance in his original eternal form is his causeless mercy bestowed upon the living entities so that they can concentrate on the Supreme Lord as he is, and not on mental concoctions or imaginations, which the impersonalist wrongly thinks the Lord forms to be. The word Maya or Atma Maya reflects to the Lord's causeless mercy. According to the Vishvakosha dictionary, the Lord is conscious of all his previous appearance and disappearances, but a common living entity forgets everything about his past body as soon as he gets another body. He is the Lord of all living entities because he performs wonderful and superhuman activities while he is on this earth. Therefore, the Lord is always the same absolute truth and is without differentiation between his form and self, or between his quality and body. A question may now be raised as to why the Lord appears and disappears in this world. This is explained in the next verse. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you very much for the wonderful reading. In the purport, Prabhupada used a very wonderful analogy to explain the appearance of the Lord. Who can remind us without looking at the book? You should take note of all Prabhupada's analogy when we are reading, It can help us to explain difficult matter in a very simple way. Please unmute yourself and tell us about the analogy.
Is it the appearance of the sun?
Are you not sure, Prabhu? Because it's like you are asking me.
I'm not 100. I'm 90% sure. I am 10% unsure.
Then speak like somebody who is sure. So repeat your answer again.
Prabhupada explains in the purport that Krishna is like the sun, that he appears. If it's we may think that the sun sets, and
Yeah.
we may think ordinary persons think that the sun is not there. But Krishna explains in the purport that he's like the sun; he's always there.
Thank you very much. That is it. That is the purport. And this purport, we are going to be using it again and again when you have to explain, maybe you have to give lecture about the appearance of the Lord. The sun is always there. But due to the movement of our planet, we have the sunrise and the sunset. So similarly, also, Krishna never takes birth. Krishna is always there. But at a particular time, when there is any religious activities in a particular planet, Krishna appears. He's always there. But Krishna is going to explain that in the next verse. So just like Prabhupada explained very nicely. So the sun is always there. And that is why Krishna not only appearing on this our planet, it goes to all the different planets also. Just like sometimes when we are like now, we're at night here, 7 o'clock. In my country, in Nigeria, they're just going to they're in the morning, going to the afternoon now. You see? They're in the afternoon, I think they should be around afternoon now, going to afternoon. We're already dark here, then they're already day. Then if you look at another place, maybe America, the time is completely different. You see? The same sun, depending on the appearance and disappearance, people are witnessing different situations in different parts of the planet. So similarly also, Krishna appeared in every of his planets of the universe, to perform his pastime. And every millennium, Krishna mentioned. So if Krishna is appearing here, as he's appearing here, he's appearing in another planet. That is how Krishna is going everywhere, perform his pastimes. So Krishna is always available. And mind you, why is it that Krishna, even though he looks as if, like it's explained, Krishna never forgets, Krishna is eternal. But why is it that Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita 1,020 years ago to some God, and he's telling Arjuna, I never forget. Why? Because if you study the Srimad Bhagavatam, the calculation of time from atom, the whole calculation of this our material universe, you need to go and read that chapter. It's very sweet. It's very scientific, but nice, okay? The whole calculation of the whole material universe is just less than a second for Mahavishnu. Less than a second. The whole calculation of the whole universe. Just imagine the whole 311 trillion years of Lord Brahma, 100 years. It's just less than a second in the eyes of the Lord. So tell me how he will forget anything. Because for him, the time is not up to anything. It's less than a second. So in these millions and trillions of years of Lord Brahma, it remains the same. Performing his transcendental activities, going here and there. So that is the greatness of Krishna. He's unborn. Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, when he appeared in front of Devaki and Vasudeva, he appeared as Narayan, 400 form. And the Devaki is saying, my Lord, when you appear as this big form, how will people believe that you are our son or child? My Lord, please put yourself as a baby so that at least people can believe us, That is Krishna. He appeared. Doesn't take birth like me and you. Me and you, yes, I'm coming. 1 minute, 1 second. Me and you, number one, we didn't select where we are going to take birth. We just find ourselves. If I'm supposed to select where we take bets, I'm very sure I know where to select. I don't need to tell you. And some of us, if we are to select where to take bets, I'm very sure I know what you are going to select. I don't need to tell you. I don't need to ask you. You see, so that is it. We didn't select where to take bets. We just find ourselves. Nature just, pushes us somewhere. Boom, we find ourselves. Oh, what happened? Why am I here? Oh, Krishna. Like that. Because we are conditioned. But the Supreme Lord, he picks his mother, he picks his father, he picks where he wants to appear, he picks the time he wants to appear, he picks everything. Those who are going to be his entourage, he picks them one by one, like that. Because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's God. So he's not conditioned, he's not like us. Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, I was just thinking with regards to the purport that Lord Krishna appears as Lord Narayan, and Prabhupada did mention that with his four hands and the decorations of the six kinds of full opulences. I was actually just looking at the picture of Lord Narayan. I only understood that he uses the disc and the club for killing the demons, and the other two, the conch and the lotus, for his devotees. Can you explain where can I find the six opulences? This is actually a good meditation for,
The six
and also,
opulences of the Lord.
yes, how can we find that decorated on his
I'm
on
trying to
Lord
get your
Narayan?
question. I'm trying to get your question. Do you want to find out where to get about the six opulences, or about the chakra, or about the weapons in the hands of the Lord? I don't understand.
No, I was thinking, Prabhu, that Prabhupada mentioned that with his four, he appears as Lord Narayan with his four hands, right? And then,
Okay.
and he is decorated, or and the decorations of the six kinds of full opulences. Where
The
can,
six kind of
yeah,
opulences.
yeah.
Okay. You remember the six opulences are full strength, full power, full fame, and since that is the bagger, no? Fame, power. Let us do it together. We know the six
Beauty,
opulences.
Beauty,
Beauty. Okay.
fame,
It's on
Fame.
renunciation,
2.2.
Renunciation.
strength.
Strength.
Strength. Yes. So this is what Krishna Prabhupada is talking about, the six opulences of the Lord.
I was just thinking it might
Only
be.
Krishna has the six opulences.
Sorry, go ahead.
Might be what?
Yeah, I was just thinking
No,
maybe
it
it's
might.
decorated on Lord Narayan's body. Maybe I can find it
No.
somewhere, or any
He's talking
symbols.
about the six opulences of the Lord.
It's just the
Yeah, he's
six
talking about that
opulences.
six opulences, the one the Lord has in full. That's what Prabhupada,
Okay.
that is what is fine. Means that even though he appeared as a child of Devaki and Vasudev, as Narayan, who have these six opulences in full, because that six opulences is what defines Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay? In the material world, if any living entity have just one of that opulence, just one. Let's say, for example, fame. Everybody want to worship you. Oh, they want to take selfie with you. Oh, no. Oh, you remember that? No. Selfie. Just fame. Become famous. Everybody want to take selfie with you. If you're very powerful, like, I don't know who is the world champion now. I don't know. I'm not correct with boxing.
Manny Pacquiao.
Oh, Manny?
Manny Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao is the world champion, yes. So wherever Manny Pacquiao will go now, everybody want to take selfie with him because he's the world champion. It's a matter of time. Somebody will come again and kick Manny Pacquiao out. Just like the time of Tyson has gone, the time of Muhammad Ali has gone, and like this. So, this thing, they are temporary for the living entity. For example, if somebody has so much money, people worship them. Have you seen a devotee who has money, how they treat them in the temple? Oh, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. They give him special treatment. So some devotees say, oh, I want to have money so that I can get some special treatment. So when you have money, they give you special seats in the front, special treatments, you know, before you cough, they bring handkerchief for you. See money. People worship this opulence if you have them, just a bit of them. The other one is renunciation. If you're the sciences, why do we worship the sciences? Why do we worship the saintly people? It's because of their renunciation. They renounce this word, so we worship them. Oh wow, you renounce everything. Wow. Oh, worship people. You know. So if you have any of these opulence of Krishna, just little bit, fragment of it, you become worshipable. Just talk less of the person who have it in full. That's Krishna. That's why he's Supreme God. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
I just say let me emphasize more about the opulences because you mentioned it. Okay, so let's continue. We'll read one more verse, then we can ask if there's any question. Then if there's no, by that time we'll have reached 8 o'clock. So Krishna continue now to explain to Arjuna why he appeared here on the earth. Yada yada hi dharmasya grani babati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrijami aham. It's a very nice verse devotees should memorize. If any Indian man will not, if they don't know anything in Bhagavad Gita, they know this. Any Indian, immediately you start it, they will finish it for you. It's because it's very common. So devotee also should learn it. Yada yada idarmasya grani babati bharata. Abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrijami aham. It's very common. So we should learn it also. So Krishna says here, whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant decrease, predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. See, only in Bhagavad Gita you hear this kind of statement directly from Krishna himself. When I was growing up, let me just say this before we read the purport. When I was growing up, thinking about God coming to this earth is like a taboo. It's like something that is impossible. When I was growing up, you dare not think about it. You know, it's like when you talk about God, you're like, God cannot come here. No. This place is too small for him to come. Oh, it's too big for him. It's like, God, oh, no. This place is too dirty for him to come. It's like, God, no. We were thinking like that. At that time, that was when people were talking more about Jesus. So when you ask them about God, it's like, no, God cannot come here. Oh, Jesus can come. But now they're already agreeing and accepting Jesus as their God. You see, because now they begin to understand our philosophy. So they're trying to translate that into their own philosophy and understand that God can even come out. So truly, God can come into his creation. You see, so Krishna is saying, whenever and wherever there is decline in his religious practice, then there's a need for me to come. Because why? See, when Krishna says he's coming, doesn't necessarily mean he has to come in the form of Krishna, Shamasundar. But we know in different manners, he comes in different forms. Because Lord Krishna, in the form of Vishnu, is the maintainer of this universe. So if you are a maintainer of a particular organization, you are the manager of that organization. Whenever there is a trouble, what will happen? The manager will go there. We go there to fix things. So Krishna, in his duty as a maintainer of the universe in the form of Vishnu, so it is mentioned that all the incarnation of Krishna are coming from Kshirodakashai Vishnu, because Kshirodakashai Vishnu is the super soul in the heart of all the living entity. So he's in charge of the maintenance of the universe. So whenever there's any trouble, he has to come in that form. But it is mentioned when Krishna appeared, Shamashundra, Nanda Krishna, all those incarnations came into the Krishna to serve in different capacities also. And that is why you see, when Krishna was in Dwaraka, he went to visit Mahavishnu. That is another topic. Okay, he went to visit Mahavishnu. Because even though Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. All his other incarnations, they are independent of him also. Like it's mentioned in Brahma Samhita, just like a candle that lights other candles. Every candle burns independent of each other. But one candle is the source of all other candles. That is the position of Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. So he appears when the need be to come to put things in place in this earth. So let's quickly read the purport. Then, if you have any question, we can take. Then, if there's no question, then we can call it a day because it's almost 3 minutes. Once already, who have not read before,
I volunteer, Prabhu.
please, Raj, continue. You muted yourself, Raj.
Oh, sorry, Prabhu. Okay.
Yeah, continue.
The word Srijami is significant herein. Srijami cannot be used in the sense of creation, because according to the previous verse, there is no creation of the Lord's form or body. Since all of the forms are eternally existent, therefore, Srijami means that the Lord manifests himself as he is. Although the Lord appears on schedule, namely at the end of Dwapar Yuga of the 28th millennium of the 8th Manu, in one day of Brahma, he has no obligation to adhere to such rules and regulations, because he is completely free to act in many ways at his will. He therefore appears by his own will whenever there is predominance of religiosity and the disappearance of true religion. Principles of religion are laid down in the Vedas, and any discrepancy in the matter of properly executing the rules of the Vedas make one irreligious. In the Bhagavatam, it is stated that such principles are the laws of the Lord. Only the Lord can manufacture a system of religion. The Vedas are also accepted as originally spoken by the Lord himself through Brahma from within his heart. Therefore, the principles of dharma or religion are the direct orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharmam tu sakshad bhagavat pranitam. These principles are clearly indicated throughout the Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of the Vedas is to establish such principles under the order of the Supreme Lord. And the Lord directly orders at the end of the Gita that the highest principles of religion is to surrender unto Him only and nothing more. The Vedic principles push one towards complete surrender unto Him, and whenever such principles are distributed by the demoniac, the Lord appears. The Bhagavatam, we understand that Lord Buddha is the incarnation of Krishna, who appeared when materialism was rampant and materialists were using the pretext of the authority of the Vedas. Although there are certain restrictive rules and regulations regarding animal sacrifice for particular purposes in the Vedas, people of demonic tendencies still took to animal sacrifice without reference to the Vedic principles. Lord Buddha appeared in order to stop this nonsense and to establish the Vedic principles of nonviolence. Therefore, each and every avatar or incarnation of the Lord has a particular mission, and they are all described and revealed in the revealed scriptures. No one should be accepted as an avatar unless he is referred to by scriptures. It is not the fact that the Lord appears only on Indian soil. He can manifest himself anywhere and everywhere, and whenever he desires to appear, in each and every incarnation. He speaks as much about religion as can be understood by the particular people under their particular circumstances. But the mission is the same, to lead people to God consciousness and obedience to the principles of religion. Sometimes he descends personally, and sometimes he sends his bona fide representative in the form of his son or servant, or himself in some disguised form. The principles of Bhagavad Gita were spoken to Arjuna, and for that matter, to other highly elevated persons because he was highly advanced compared to ordinary persons in other parts of the world. 2 plus 2 equals 4 is a mathematical principle that is true in the beginner's arithmetic class and in the advanced class as well. Still, there are higher and lower mathematics in all incarnations of the Lord. Therefore, the same principles are taught. But they appear to be higher and lower in varied circumstances. The higher principles of religion begin with the acceptance of the four orders and the four statutes of social life, as will be explained later. The whole purpose of the mission of the incarnations is to arouse Krishna consciousness everywhere. Such consciousness is manifest and non-manifest only under different circumstances. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you for the nice reading. So we will stop here because we are going to pick it from here again. Tomorrow there's a holiday. Tomorrow is Radhastami. Okay? So there's public holiday in the School of Bhakti. So there's not going to be class tomorrow. And because we have to focus on Srimati Radharani and praying for our mercy and render service in the temple, wherever you are close to. And then so we'll continue. Tomorrow is Wednesday. We'll continue again on Thursday. Okay? And we're going to speak extensively about the incarnations of God and the different incarnations. We're going to talk about that. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So I have to rush down to go do my service. See you on Thursday. Hare Krishna.
Just click one quick picture with
Okay.
everyone. Anyone
Okay.
was
Smile.
can open their cameras. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. You
Okay.
done?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you, Hare
everyone.
Krishna.